It's commonly known that saffron, that yellow spice used to make rice yellow, is the most expensive spice in the world. But many people are surprised to know that the second most expensive spice is vanilla. Yeah, vanilla is a spice, as it's used for flavoring, and it comes in the form of a bean. This is despite the fact that vanilla doesn't have any capsaicin in it to make it spicy, nor is it usually sold in powdered form. Hence why people are confused by the term spice. This is a story of how one of the most expensive and coveted flavors became one of the most common and ubiquitous. Throughout much of written history, vanilla was unknown to most civilizations, as it's native to the Americas, Mesoamerica in particular. The first civilization of the Americas were the Olmecs, who lived along the shores of the Gulf of Mexico. They were the first to cultivate vanilla. However, it is worth noting that there are traces of vanilla found in the ancient ruins of Israel, and were probably used for religious rituals. This probably came from an Old World orchid, as it was made long before contact with the Americas. Nonetheless, vanilla production did not develop in any significant scale in the Old World at this period of time. Back to the New World. The Teotec people, and yes, I'm mispronouncing that, of the eastern coast of what is now Mexico, grew vanilla beans for incense for their religious customs, as well as for flavoring. However, due to its limited functionality, it never became widespread throughout the Americas, unlike, say, corn or tomatoes. Eventually, these people would be conquered by the militaristic Aztec Empire. The Aztecs had already widely used coca, which is used to create some form of proto-chocolate without the sugar or milk, and as a result was rather bitter. For this reason, funny enough, vanilla was actually used to flavor chocolate. Moving on, the Aztecs were very brutal in their conquests, and when the Spanish arrived, many indigenous people groups sided with the Spaniards. However, the Spaniards were not nice either. They set up a plantation system known as the encomienda, which is highly exploitative. Eventually, the Spanish would send vanilla to Europe. At the time, it was seen again as a sort of side flavor of chocolate, which I guess still continues to this day. However, as sugarcane was used to sweeten chocolate, eventually vanilla was used as a standalone flavor in pastries and ice cream. The French in particular took a liking to vanilla, and it just so happened to be that colonizing various islands in the Indian Ocean would be their forte. The most important by far would be Madagascar. Madagascar itself is a biological treasure chest of incredible wildlife and foliage seen nowhere else. Soon its name would become synonymous with vanilla, to the point when its Mexican origin was eventually overlooked. Madagascar to this day is the largest producer of vanilla. However, after independence, things started to change. Natural disasters already ravaged vanilla plantations, and in the 1970s, a communist government took over the country's production, and the collectivist agrarian policies led to mismanagement of the vanilla plantations. However, the demand for vanilla didn't go away. Food scientists needed to find an attractive alternative. The vanilla bean's main component that produces vanillin is, well, vanillin. Am I being redundant? Yes, I am. However, synthetic vanillin had already been isolated during the 1800s anyway. With the collapse of affordable and stable supplies from Madagascar, vanillin was extracted from a waste product of the paper-making process at pulp factories. Much of this happened not in the tropical forests of Africa, but in the frigid forests of Canada. With an easy supply of vanillin, vanilla extract could be sold artificially and reliably to vast populations around the world. Real vanilla extract still exists and is still sold, but it's far more expensive. The taste is pretty similar. However, the aromatic compounds found in actual vanilla extract are not found in the artificial versions. And this doesn't really matter that much if you're, say, baking, because heat kills those aromatic compounds. But if you're using ice cream, it definitely matters. Vanilla flavoring became so common in a variety of desserts that today the word vanilla is associated with plainness, default settings, and just boringness. It's a shame because the flavor itself is rich. However, at the same time, it shows something quite remarkable, a transformation. Here's a bean that held one of the most expensive flavors in the world, but through the power of science and globalization, the exotic tropical flavor of vanilla became just, well, plain old boring vanilla.